The actual kitchen scene was 2 takes, maybe 3 takes. Matter of fact, after I did the first take, they were like, I think the DP walked out and was like, I need a second. Because I let it out.
The 2024 Oscars race is in full swing, and we are chatting with the actors, creators, and more right here on The Awardist. Hi, everyone. I'm Gerrad Hall, Entertainment Weekly Executive Editor. Da'Vine Joy Randolph is perhaps best known for her comedic roles, but she is earning rave reviews for her work in Alexander Payne's The Holdovers, where she plays a grieving mother to understated perfection. And it's really no surprise she's so good. Randolph, after all, is a classically trained actress, and her work here is rightfully earning all kinds of awards. So here now is my interview with Da'Vine Joy Randolph. Well, I want to start by really recognizing the great variety of roles that you have been playing in recent years. Only Murders in the Building, The Idol, Dolomite Is My Name, The Lost City, The Last OG. There's been a handful of animated roles as well, but this one is so wonderfully different from all of those. Had you been looking for something like this? I'd love to hear about the way and the timing of it coming into your life.
I'm always looking for it. Whatever it is, I don't even know if I'm aware what it is. I like to keep a very diversified portfolio. That's probably the most important to me. I've been like that for forever. And I realize of the actors and actresses that I really admire, that's a common thread that they have the ability to transform and be, many different things. And I'm grateful to have the skill set in order to do that. When this came across, for me, the biggest thing that stood out to me was that this Black woman was able to have a fully realized character, story, and multi-dimensions, and that the director and the writer had already put in place room for me to create and allow her to blossom. And a lot of times that's not the case, and you're trying to work out ways to fit that in to a script that's naturally not there. So yes, when Alexander, we had our meeting first, but when I got the script, it was a script that really made me be like, oh wow, I actually have quite a bit that I can work with and work off of, and then adding Paul into the equation.
Indeed. Well, we all know there are various stages of grief, and we behave and we react differently through each of those as we experience them. So when we meet Mary, I think it's perhaps kind of fair to say that she's in the depression stage. Would you say that?
Yeah, so my goal actually was because as the movie starts, he's only been gone for maybe 2 to 3 months. It's quite fresh for her. So what I wanted to do is that I wanted to challenge myself that through the course of the entire movie, I go through all the different stages. That was something that I wanted to create and push for. And it was a challenge. It was definitely a challenge. But it was a rewarding one for sure.
Yeah. What did you just innately understand about the position that she was in?
That she is a woman who is a relentlessly hard worker that has to work harder than most people in order to make an honest living, that she worked her butt off so that her child could have a good education, which makes it so sad that even in how hard she worked, it still was not enough financially for her to be able to afford him to go to college. I think she's a strategist. She intentionally worked at that job so that her son could get an education there, a discounted education there. It's just heartbreaking that she didn't have enough money to put him through college, and that because of that, he had to go to war. And I understand that being the color of our skin, what that meant for a Black man to go into that kind of situation, and that more likely than not, he was on the front lines. And that's just tragic and heartbreaking, I think, for her, because she feels in many ways that she failed him. And I know what it's like to, work quietly. I don't want to say in the shadows, but like on the sidelines in a bit. That's why I think this moment is so special to me, because I've been doing the work for no other reason other than I believe it's not only a God-given gift, but it is something that I'm supposed to be, is in alignment with my purpose. And so no matter whether prior anyone said anything about, the work that I create, what I'm so grateful for now in this moment is that people are responding to it. But to be honest, I feel good about the project and I feel good about what I contributed, so that even if they never did, it wouldn't stop me from going, because I know this is part of what I'm supposed to be doing, whether it's to help people release or heal or laugh or, just get a break from their own reality, or to get in touch with their reality and to now face things and ask certain questions. You know what I mean? That's a part of what I feel like why I do and why I choose the roles that I choose. It's for a reason. Even if it's a comedy, it's for a very specific reason.
Yeah, yeah. Well, a lot of what you just said there is about of course, there's the grief, but all of that extra guilt that she feels over her son's loss. And eventually see Mary have a bit of a breakdown at the Christmas party. But it's a really pivotal scene for so many reasons, also because of what Angus shares with Mary and Paul. But that scene is so pivotal. So, did all of you perhaps spend a little more time on this specific moment to make sure you got all of the emotional beats just right?
No, the opposite. The actual kitchen scene was 2 takes, maybe 3 takes, 2 takes. Matter of fact, after I did the first take, they were like, I think the DP walked out and was like, I need a second. Because I let it out. It was very quiet when I finished. And everyone was just so supportive and respectful. The actors knew, definitely Paul knew what that meant for me to go there. And everyone was very respectful of that. And I remember Alex was like, okay, so we have that one in the can. And he was like, let's try one more. Maybe there was a third one. I don't think so. But not, and that wasn't even intentional. It just was, this is my offering of my interpretation of what is on the page. And it seemed to resonate with everyone. So I was grateful for that even amongst our team of creatives, that they were like, okay. If I had to do multiple takes, I would have done that too. I think it's just how it ended up.
What's interesting is because a lot of actors will say, we did 10 takes, but it's the first take that's in the movie. And I think there's really something to be said for that. It's fresh. It's the first go. And there's something more honest, I guess, about that, because all the others that follow, then you're in your head and you're thinking about it more. Potentially overthinking it.
Exactly. It's an extension of, or a slightly dulled down version of, the first thing you did.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you, Paul, and Dominic together, I mean, there's a bit of a kind of a Three Musketeers dynamic going on at times. The chemistry between the three of you, of course, on one side you've got the veteran, fantastic Paul Giamatti, and then Dominic Sessa in his feature film debut. And my gosh, does he knock it out of the park with a pretty big and daunting role here. But I'm wondering, did the three of you get to spend much time together in advance, or were the characters kind of experiencing each other in the same time that the three of you as actors were experiencing each other?
I mean, we came about 3 weeks to a month earlier before actually shooting, and two or three of those weeks were spent with like text analysis and fittings and all of that stuff. Winter in Boston, but we predominantly filmed more so maybe like an hour more north of Boston. So it was quiet and desolate, and so it was just three of us. Like, that was it. Yeah, in a way that was kind of our timeline, with maybe the addition of 2 or 3 more weeks.
Got it. But by the way, I think that really speaks all the more to how this is really great casting here. It's just this perfect meeting of personalities, the three of you.
Absolutely. And also, Paul and I went to the same school for graduate school, Yale School of Drama. So, what was great, though we didn't go at the same time, I think it's a testament to the institution. We spoke the same language. So, I think I don't remember, it was 2 years ago, but I just remember in our first initial scene, it was like a double take where it was like, I don't know how to explain it other than like if you go to a foreign country and you don't speak the language and then you hear somebody that speaks English and your ear like catches it. It was like being in the scene, and as I was experiencing him in the scene, my brain was firing off of like, oh, he's like you, he talks like you guys can meet each other. And so when they said cut, I was like, oh, we got it. He was like, uh-huh. It's an amazing gift to have where, that's already just built in.
Yeah, yeah. Well, people have often described Alexander Payne as an actor's director. So what excited you most about getting to work with him?
I think the reason why people say that is because he creates an environment to your betterment, where a lot of times maybe only the lead might get that in certain situations, or the actors have to fight for that. The entire environment, there's no video village, there's no monitors, there's no, you know what I mean? You're not like looking at, your performance. The camera's there and he's right next to the camera in the room with you. So it's a very intimate thing. And you feel as though you're all doing it together. That it's not like, this grandiose ego-driven thing of I'm the director and you're the actors. It was very much so a joint effort in us creating something.
All of that, we of course got to spend a good amount of time with Mary. But I gotta say, I really wanted more of her, so I'm wondering if by chance did you shoot more scenes? Were there things that for whatever reason might have hit the cutting room floor?
No, I would say more like longer forms of the scenes. Does that make sense? Like there was no additional scenes. Like that kitchen scene is longer, but I think at a certain point it's like it's too much. We all need to go to therapy now, but you know what I mean? But like there were definitely like longer forms or versions of scenes. No additional scenes to my knowledge, at least not with the script that I read.
Well, you've touched a bit on how much the reaction and the reception to your performance here has meant to you, but I kind of want to elaborate on that a bit. How is all of this Oscar buzz making you feel?
Oh, it's weird. It's very weird to me. I don't really know, to be honest. I feel like a little bit like an awkward teenager. I don't really know how to handle it, to be quite honest, beyond not handling it. If I'm being completely transparent with you, I've told my team, don't you tell me. Like, I don't want to know the day they vote. I don't want to know the day that we find out. I just want to wake up in the morning and whatever happens, happens. I can't. This industry is such a beautiful one, but it's also a huge mix of luck and chance and timing and opportunity. And so there's been times where I've done projects where I'm like, oh, for sure, this is it. This is a hit, and nothing, or vice versa, and people loving it. It's so hard and unreliable to base, you know what I mean, success on. So I don't do it for that. I do it for telling the stories of these women who probably wouldn't get an opportunity to have their stories heard otherwise. And I try to do it at a high level of quality because that's important to me, especially as a minority and as a female. And I do it also that if it in any way can help people, whether it's comedy or drama, that it's like, if it can make somebody laugh or be healing in some type of way, that's the thing I'm invested in. But for there to be conversation about it, it's amazing. It's amazing. I think if nothing else, it's a little nudge or like a little faint whisper to myself of like, okay, we're on to something. Keep going and don't give up, because it's hard. This industry is very hard, and so I think if anything, it instates my desire and will to keep chugging along.
Yeah, well, you are just a shining star in this, and All the best to you. I am hopeful we will continue to see you down the road. But I understand why you're telling your team, keep it out of my ears for now. But nonetheless, congratulations.
Well, I hope to see you too. I just don't want to know in advance and be nervous. But I appreciate it, and I hope to see you soon.
All right. Well, congratulations, and thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you so much.
Well, trust me when I say you do not want to miss this movie. Da'Vine, along with Paul Giamatti and Dominic Sessa, are just fantastic. The Holdovers is playing in theaters now. That is it for this week's episode. If you like what you're watching here on The Awardist, be sure to subscribe to Entertainment Weekly right here on YouTube. And to keep the conversation with us going, you can follow Entertainment Weekly on all socials. We're at EW on X, formerly known as Twitter, and at Entertainment Weekly everywhere else. You can also tag me at Gerrad Hall. We will see you back here next week and every day at EW.com.